Good evening and welcome to Buckman's Model Mania. Tonight I'm going to be working on the Volkswagen Samba van. It was just blowing off a little bit of dog hair from it. It needs to be vacuumed. So here's where it stands right now, and it's got the chassis underneath it. You can see that on this camera over here. Chassis underneath it, wheels, back wheels are on. Tonight I do not need the interior at all, so let me go ahead and take that off. Set that over here, and we'll start working on stage 68. Stage 68 and 69 will be the heater system, which is underneath the van. And it's with a rear engine. It was rather ingenious the way they did it, because your engine is always where your heat comes from. And instead of having a water-cooled engine so they could pipe water, this is just a air-cooled engine, so they can only pipe the air from the engine. Go ahead and lay it over on its side. It'll stay. We'll get pack 68 out. I know some of you might be surprised I'm a little bit earlier than normal, but I got up early after not sleeping very well last night, and so I decided I'd go early tonight so I could get to bed earlier. So all the parts are out of the bag, and there are two BP04 screws. Let me go ahead and get them put away. I have a lot of BP04 screws. If I remember right, because it's been about a month since I worked on the van, the P denotes that it is going into plastic. Let me see, is there anything on here? No, just the filler cap. So I shouldn't have any problems setting that down like that. Just to make sure, go ahead and prop it up like there, so I don't have anything get broken off. It's a little bit precarious, but it should work. So actually, let's go through. We've got upper and lower heating ducts, several tubes, and I believe these are either brake tubes or pedal cables. And there are some BP09 screws in here still. So let me go ahead and get those out of the way. Get them into the box. And all of these are going to the underside of the van. First thing to do is you take the two halves of the heat pipe. And I believe there's going to be a screw that holds them together. Maybe. Actually, looking at it, it's showing the picture. Yeah, it is secure with two BP09s, one back here, one right here. Let me go ahead and get them right now. Two screws. Set one on the pad here. Make sure this one is going to actually fit the screwdriver. You may notice that I now have, finally, the Wera screwdrivers. I decided to stop fighting with those other screwdrivers. Now I've got wire screwdrivers instead, which jury's still out. They work pretty well. I'm just curious how long they're going to last, and I have to remagnetize them about every couple of weeks. Okay, so that's the heat pipe. And it's going to go, that's in the front. So there's a couple of sockets. Looks like, yeah, there's going to be a screw here, a screw here, socket front and back. Although, I'm looking at it the wrong way. So it's going to fit on there. I'm going to put it up on the side instead. That container with my decal water just isn't doing very good for me. Okay. So like that. I'm holding it in here. You can see in, it should be that camera. And 2 BD04. Screws are going to go in there. So let me get this first one in here, and that should be right here. Yep, I've pushed it away and into. Get that one started a little bit. Put the spare screw that I've got away. Get this other one on here. Get it back in the right spot. It is not wanting to stay there. Let's see if I can get it to catch. Okay. This should be the right hole. But I'm not hitting it. Hang on. It just knocked over my glue. No wonder I'm hitting the wrong hole. No, that's the right hole. Let's try this again. Might have to take the first one back out. Feels like it's catching now. Maybe. Nope. You would think with 2 little bitty plastic screws like this. Problem is I'm not getting it quite over far enough. I can see that now. You can see that by looking down in the hole that I'm not quite far enough over, but now I should be. I can just put the screw back into the hole. That's better. I can feel that catching. So that one's tight. That one's tight. I actually may have over tightened this one, but it's not going to come loose. Okay, so that has got that heater duct, turn chassis over again, fit the brake fluid line. Let's see if we can do it this way. Bring this camera up just a hair. Hey, Gordon, welcome. That's a little bit better. So this one is going to be the one with the odd, semi-odd curve to it, and it's going to run across the top of the heater vent. And it does have screws. I'm just looking to see where they are. One there, one here, one here. So it's going to run like that. There's a pin. There's a pin right here that goes into the hole right here. That one in there. I have to do a little bit of playing with it. And that's going to be 2 more BP09s. Set them down there, see if I can keep this from going places. Stand the screwdriver up. Of course, I'm now off screen. This hole should be right here, I believe, or maybe not. Let me do this one back here first. Looks like it's going to be one of these, a night of trial and error with screws. So that one should be right here. I can feel it. I'm going to tighten that one all the way down. And then I'm going to move this one just to see. Right there. So this one is where I thought it was. But the part was not in there. So now, there's the brake line. We have the clutch cable. The clutch cable looks like it's not going to require anything to hold it in. Yeah, that's going to be just push in. Just make sure I've got the right one, because there are multiples. You can tell this one is the clutch cable because it's got that right there. You can see that in the book. So the clutch cable is going to go in here. If I can get it to go in. Keep pushing it over on the side. Okay, that one in that time. I think. Oh no, it didn't. So let me put this up on its side again. Maybe I'll try the front first. You see, the problem is it keeps laying over. What it is, you've got the split connector there. Let me see if I can get it to focus. The split connector has got to actually go through the hole What's happening is it's tending to fall over instead of go through the hole. That one's in. Nearly got tiger stripes done on the Tornado. Very cool. Mental health issues can be pain in the behind. I don't know if I would say I have mental health issues these days because I tend not to go out at all anymore if I can avoid it. I hate the days that I have to go to the office. I'm having to angle this a little bit so that I can actually see. There we go. So you can see that's the clutch cable. But I hate, like I was saying, I hate to go into the office these days. I prefer very much to work from home. And so these next three cables are identical to each other, and they fit in the next three holes. I'm going to lay this on its side. I just realized I was putting it on the bumper, which is not very strong at all. Grab this with the needle nose pliers. There's actually a lip on these. Once I get this one in, I'll show it to you on the next one before I put it in. That one's lined up perfect. Fell right into the hole. So you can see there's a little lip around these along with the split connector, which makes it a lot easier if I would use the straight tweezers to push it straight in. If I can get a hold of it. Put it in the hole. That one's in. Oh, I thought it was in there for a second. These are things that I will never see again because I'll never turn the van over once it's done. That one's in. Getting itchy fingers and getting the 132nd Desert Storm Spang F4G. Very cool. Very cool. Funny thing about the Desert Storm Spang F4G is one, I was at Spang when the Wild Weasel F4s were there, and I don't think actually, that's right. The F4s went to Desert Storm. They did not go to Deny Flight. That was right around the time that we were retiring the F4s. Actually, let me think. I actually think they retired the F4s before Desert Storm. Don't remember for sure, though. That was a long time ago. And I was talking about the piping for the heat. These are the heaters. Probably fans inside back here that push the air through. But right here, I haven't looked, but right here, I think that's just see. Yeah. I think the next piece the next stage, I've got a piece that goes there between them. F-16 CJ. Yep. Remember them well. They were pain. F-16 overall, good airplane. Just it had a lot of problems. Let's see. Oops, knocked down a piece of wood strip. Then over here, the other side, that one goes there. Where's the other end go, though? End tabs the chassis. It says, so we've got another expansion spot there, but it doesn't really have a good shot of where the other end goes. Lay this down, grab it here. Once I get it pushed in here, oh, that's not it. Maybe I'll figure out where the other end goes. So those of you who did not watch the two streams, or the Sunday stream, other than a broken JST connector, the X-Wing is back together. That has got to go right there on top of that heater because that's where the pin fits. There's a hole on top of the heater pipe. Fits there perfect. And the picture is not zoomed in enough to where you can really tell. So that has got all the tubes and cables installed on the bottom of the chassis. Oh, yes. Had this behind me on purpose. Forgot. That actually came with this pack. And other than the case itself, this, I believe, is the last of the specials that come with the Samba. This is a 1/24 Samba, which is kind of cool because I now have 3 Sambas to put around it. 1 red, 1 gray, 1 yellow. So let's move on to stage 69, everybody's favorite stage. And I'll leave it at that. The metal part. A couple of packs of screws. What on a front engine car would be an axle. Let me see. More BDOs 4s. Wonder if those are more BPO 9s. No, these are BDO 3s. Okay. So let's see what it says. So yeah, middle frame, and like I said, the heater duct. And it says in here to examine it because there is a half moon shape to the pipe. And that's a half moon. And the half moon is to the top. Turn chassis upside down. Place the heater duct along center, fitting the post so that recess of the straight section is touching the chassis. So, oops. Turn that over. So the flat section is going to go down, and I've got it exactly backwards. You can see there are grooves in here. And they line up with the floor, the Oh, they don't. You would think they would, but they don't really. Try this again just to make sure. That doesn't work. Huh. Well, looking at the pictures, they're the same way. So they kind of sit in there, not very well. Let's see if I can get this back out without disturbing the camera too much. Examine the middle frame. Widest part should be located at the rear of the base. Ah, okay. I was looking at this going, that's bent. Okay, this is bent. That makes that the widest part. So it is going to fit on there like that. Okay, and there, right there is the half moon shape. It's going to catch on the top of this, the heater pipe, and keep it. It can still move, but it's not going anywhere. Press chassis, it's already down. 2 BPO3 screws. Interesting, BPO3s in the back. Yeah, it says BPO3, but I wonder if those must have been BPO3s, not BDO3s. Well, even if they're in the wrong spot, I have plenty of BPO3s. These are going to be going into metal. I just dropped them both where I can't see them. Let me get my can of Earl. Sorry, didn't mean to show you that really nasty scratch on my arm. It's just a scratch, but it still wasn't that fun. These are going into metal. Got that one started. Let me get the other one started before I go anywhere else with that other one. I'm going to go ahead and tighten both of these down completely. Is that going in? That looks like it's going into metal, so I'm going to go ahead and, even though it says to use BDO4s, which went into plastic, I'm going to dip them in oil. I know there are people out there that use oil, whether it's plastic or metal that it's going into. There's that one. And that one. And that is all there is to do on the chassis tonight. I did look ahead a little bit, just to make sure I'm not missing anything. Nope, that's it. I did look a little bit ahead in the books. Those first two stages are all chassis. Everything else is going to be the front axle. So we'll go ahead and get the parts out. First, I'm going to move this over here. Set. No, I'm not going to set that on top yet. Well, I just put it back in storage. I'll put the interior back on. You get all these parts out. Not lose anything. Based on how many people are here tonight, Gordon, you get your own private stream. Kind of funny, at least to me. Of course, I'm early, so let's see. Donnie's still at work. Donnie's going to be still at work. Todd's going to be still at work. Not sure about everybody else. So BPO4 screws. Very funny because it says, in here it says BDO4. It says BPO4 on here. So I'm going to put those where the BPO4s go, and you got the two halves of the front suspension, bumper stops, and what is this? Steering damper body. Leave these bumper stops so to keep the steering from going too far and hitting the tire, which I have sometimes happen on my Jeep. So I'm going to make sure I got this the right way around. Make sure I got the right piece. Okay, so the steering damper body goes onto the front suspension right here. There's a hole in the damper body. So it's going to go on there like that. Let's see, BDO4. I'm going to actually use, no, I'll go ahead and use the ones that came with it. I was going to say I'm going to actually use the BDO4s, but I'm going to use the BPO4s that came with it. Yeah, because that needs to be able to move, I believe. Let's try this again. It's not playing nice right now. I'm going to tighten it down, but not, that's farther than that. So it still moves pretty freely. Examine the front suspension upper tube. Each side has part identified by left L and R. Not sure if that's there you can see the R and the L. That doesn't go there yet. We've got the R and L. Bumper side stops also bear an R and an L. Set this down. See if that's an R right there. Let's see, fit the right. It says actually fit the left one in first. So I'm just looking. These kind of have a little bit of play in them once they're in there. L and L, R and R. As we turn it around, this is coming up from the bottom. Now it comes in like this. I'm looking at the book as I do this just to make sure. Posts here in the middle. Okay, and then once it drops in there, the half moon shape holds it in place. Just looking, and it says to put video 4 screws in It's kind of funny, they rotate it back and forth because I had this on backwards. Putting screws in wouldn't have done anything. Get this one in there. There we go. Okay, so when I put it on there, the brackets top and bottom were not matching up. So now they are. It says to use BDO4s. You see if the BDO4s will work. I don't think they will. Like they mean the BPO4s. Yeah, that doesn't fit. So let me get a screw on here. Put one in through this hole. At least get it started. I'm going to snug it all the way down. Do the same thing on this side. I'm willing to bet it's going to tell me to put the other side on in just a second. So you can see there was a gap when I started, and both of them are all the way down. And it says to do the same thing on the other side. Let me get one more of these screws. So you've got a screw here. You need to put screws on this side. So I'm going to go ahead and pop that one in. You can see the gap right there. And as I tighten it, gap closes completely. Still got a little bit of wiggle to it, but I think it's supposed to have. tighten this one down. It's actually got this pointed straight over, upside down like that. Yeah. And that is the end of stage 70. Stage 71 is going to have a few complicated pieces because front suspension fitting the left front wheel. And stage 72 is going to be the exact same thing, except for on the right side. So if you're watching live, you're stuck with me the whole time, or you can go somewhere, make a sandwich, whatever. But if you're recording, you can skip over this. This is the right wheel. This is the left wheel. This is for the left suspension. Or left, yeah, that's for the left side. Make sure I got the right one, 71. Cut it open. Here are all the parts. Nicely held in this plastic, and there's actually no top this time. Usually there is a top over top of anything that comes like that. These are, let's see, BP10s and BD06s. So the BP10s have a pretty good sized lip on them. You can see. So the BD06s let me double check. Yeah, BD05, so BD06 is a new screw type. Got the label maker handy. Make sure BD06. It's kind of a waste making the label that big to go on a little container this small. So I'm just going to get the screws in there. Close it so I don't lose any, and let me get the workspace cleaned up. So this is probably going to be a little bit complicated. They usually are. So we're going to start. Let me see. We got this. Let me go back through. We got the suspension arm, which I believe is that. No. No, this is the lower suspension arm. Let's just build it rather than getting names, because I'm confused a little bit. So this is the lower suspension arm. Get it out of here. It's stuck in here pretty good. Wow. That explains why there's no top on here. you almost can't get the parts out. So you got the lower suspension arm here. Shock absorber. That will change this part right here. That is the shock absorber. It goes onto the suspension arm. Kind of odd. Shock absorber's plastic. Suspension arm, I believe, is metal. Actually, let me see. Maybe, maybe not. So the BD06. Not positive whether it's metal or not. Use a little bit of oil just in case. It doesn't want to go that far in. Which is good because it gives it play. It's tight as it's going to go. So get the front suspension assembly. We're working on the left-hand side. So where's my R? I think that's, I really can't tell. Yeah, that's the left. So this is going to go onto the bottom. I'm facing it the wrong way. Okay. Shock is going to go up. The cup here, in case you ever build this, the cupping part is towards the bottom. Shock needs to be up. And there's a, come on. There's a keyway, basically, right there. So you can't put it on wrong. Okay, I looked away, was looking at the book. No, that's the wrong way. No, I've got the wrong side, that's why. Looking at the pictures, and they're not that helpful. Okay. So that goes on there like that. Fits on with the BP10. I know the assembly is plastic. So I misunderstood the concept of the plastic bumper. The bumper, that's to keep it from going any further up. There's the shock. Next, take the shock absorbing spring. It will come out. And it's going to go on top of the shock tower here. Carefully examine shock absorber body where support was off center, then fit it over. Okay, this is the shock absorber body. What they're talking about is it's off center. Off center goes away from the body. Push it down on there like that. And then put another BPO 10. Yes, a BP10 screw in there to hold the shock absorber in place. And now, come on, working shock absorber. That's pretty nice. It's good and tight. Put the upper suspension arm on. Secure. So the upper one is going to go on here. The larger open or larger brown piece is going to go to the bottom. Hey, Todd, you're late. And then another BP10. Welcome, Todd. Actually, you're not late. I was just early. Come on, get in there. Right. Don't cross thread. It's a little tight. Been working all day. No time to see Discord or my phone for the notice. Well, I understand. I did this. I worked all day too. Okay, so now that's the right. Take the left wheel. It's going to go on there like that. You got a lug here and a lug here. So very carefully put it on like that. That's metal because it's BP06. Insert the washers, which the washer is the only thing that has anything over top of it. Let go. All right. So I'm going to take the first one, set it on here, like that. Then I'm going to get the BD. It's so bad how bad they have the numbering system on this one. Because these are BP06 screws, not BD. Hate to do this, but I'm dipping it in a little bit of oil. I hate to do it because it's going through the rubber grommet or washer. Do that with this next one. which should be the last one because that's all that's in there. Grab the other washer. I actually like the way they did this. I don't think any other part work has done it this way. Just minute drop. And what I'm talking about is the little rubber washer in there. I don't think any of the ones that I've done so far have had the little rubber washer. I thought I got rid of that thing. Sure. And so now we have the working steering on the front, on the left front wheel. And these parts, obviously, carefully store steering rack and plate for later. So this would be the rack for rack and pinion steering, and there's the plate. And hopefully those are used in the next issue, which happens to be the last issue I have for tonight. Get those out. A lot more screws in this one. This has a lot more pieces to it. You've got the steering arms, shock absorber, the shock, a few more pieces, but a lot more screws. Let's see, we've got BDO3s. Not even going to look and see what it says in the book because they've been wrong. The books tonight have not been that accurate on which screws to use. So there's the BDO3s, BDO7s, I'm old, reaching that far hurts. Again, lots of tape for a very small number. Might have to get another container tonight. Which I actually, on the London bus, I grabbed some over the weekend and used them on the X-Wing because I dropped a screw and a couple other things. Come on, get in there. Got 3 screws in there. Eric, where you been, man? You're the only one who could have been here the whole stream. BP10s. I just snuck in early streaming on you guys is what happened. BD06s. Unfortunately, I don't think the suspension goes on tonight. Last but not least, silver VPO5s. Now, you guys missed me fighting with some quote-unquote wires and hoses underneath the bus today. Everything else has been suspension. Okay, come on. So this is kind of old hat. Make sure I got the shock. These parts are stuck in here good and proper. So there's the shock. Let me just make sure which one is lower. That's lower. Okay. So lower suspension arm. The shock goes over top of it and then is secured with a BD06, which goes into oil because it's going in the metal. Look away for half a second, everything flies apart. This screw, I'm going to do the same thing I did on the other side. It go down until it bottoms out, back it off a hair, and it moves freely. You take the suspension, turn it around. Put this on here like this. Then put a BP10 in there. It's going into plastic, so it does not need any metal. I need any oil, not metal. Back it off just a hair. By the way, on your VW van, when it goes clunk, when you hit something hard in the front, it's that little piece right there. Rotate the spring around, or the shock around. See if I can get this to stay in one place because the wheel wants to roll. Nope, the spring's not going to come out. So pop the spring on there. On top of the shock absorber. I might be going kind of fast, guys, because I just did this. And for those of you who missed it the first time, there's an offset half. The offset goes to the outside. So this is the shock. It will go down over top of the spring, go to the outside, and it's actually got some pretty serious spring to it. And then that will get secured with a BP10. Again, going into plastic. And that'll hold that together just like that. Man, that looks precarious. But I think it's going to look precarious like that because what's going to happen is the weight of the van, as you put it on in there, is going to actually push it down. And then the upper suspension arm, if I can get it out. I forget, how did that go on there? That's right. Upper suspension arm goes on there. This, and for those of you that weren't here before, the cup faces out. And that gets secured. Where to go? With the BP10. Again, we're still going into plastic. maybe back that off just a hair. Okay. And take the right wheel assembly. Make sure it's the right direction. This arm has got to be on towards me, just like this one is. Of course, this is where, after I do this, this is where I find out that I've got them on the wrong way. Not really, I'm just kidding. So I'm covering off of those little rubberized washers. That time I got rid of the cover right off. Take the first one, put it in here on the top. I believe that was a BD screw, yep, BD06. Suspension's fun when you're putting it together because it keeps wanting to roll away. Very lightest dab of oil on there because of the rubber washer. Tighten it down. Then do the same thing with the second one. Let me get the screw out first. Not going to put the oil on yet until after I get the washer in there. Put the washer in there like that. Dip the screw in the oil. Put the screw through the washer. Tighten it down. It's going great tonight, Eric. Thank you for asking. I've not had any problems. Looking there, knock on wood. Okay, and actually looking at this, it is upside down because it's upside down, right side up. If it was, the body was beneath it, this is how it's actually going to sit on the car. And so the rest of this is all new. Well, there you go. Carefully identify and store these parts for later. So we're going to store these, steering arms, some screws, and some 12 and 11. Make sure that I've got those. 10, 11, and 12, those are all the other screws. 10, 11, 12. Okay. So at this point, that's close that up, put those over there. Put stuff out of the way. And bring the chassis over. That's what I should have used when I was turning it over. So this is going to go on here. Just looking, I can't see which is right or left anymore. But I believe it should go on here, something. Hang on. I like to do this. Yeah, the steering should be in the front of. Oh, there's the problem. I'm going too far forward, so where would this sit? I'm putting it on the wrong side, maybe? No. I'm not sure at this point where exactly this is going to go. Somewhere like something like that. Let's see if I can hold it in place while I turn it over. So that's kind of what it's going to look like. Best guess. And I just hate it when I unlock it like that. And then this part, which is still flimsy, is all get out. Will sit on there just like that. Nobody likes me, Todd. Nobody likes me, but that's okay. So there is as far as I can go tonight. That's all the parts I have. I have a few parts now to go into the parts bucket, which is next to me, which is where I had the tires. Okay. For a second there, I was like, the heck is that? It's actually supposed to be there. So that's it for tonight, guys. I appreciate you stopping by. Like, subscribe. Come on over to Hobby Time Modelers on Facebook and YouTube. See what we're doing. I'm going to be trying to get a little bit more done on the Moomin House this week. X-Wing, I can't do anything with until tomorrow when I get the JST connectors, but things are going together. Appreciate you stopping by. Have a great evening. Have a great day tomorrow. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other, and I will catch you later.